Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a few tips about putting together your final project. All the information I'm going to talk about is in the final project guidelines and the rubrics for the annotation and for the presentation, because remember your final project is not only your final annotated bibliography, it's a brief presentation as well. So as I said, all the information I'm going to talk about in this video is in those documents. However, it can really help to have someone just talk through it with you. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and we should see the Moodle course here. Hopefully that's what I'm sharing. Yeah, let me try it one more time. Share screen too. Okay, great. So down in week 15. Week 15 is all dedicated to how to get a good grade on your final project. And as you scroll down, you're going to see that there are some final project guidelines here. Now this document, the guidelines document, is going to be your friend. You want to open it, make sure you read it all the way through. You can see that one part of the final project is your final annotated bibliography, which is just all the sources you found throughout the semester put together into one document with a nice little introduction explaining what you found. So for your introduction, you should write a 50 to 100 word introduction, explain why you chose the topic and what you learned. The paper layout is also important. You're going to require to have a cover page. Everything should be double spaced, and the sources should be listed in alphabetical order by the last name or organization name of the citation. So basically the first letter of the citation. So they should not be organized by type. They should be organized alphabetically. And you're going to have 9 sources. The 9 sources you've turned in throughout the semester. All of your annotation and assignments should add up to 9. We did 5 journal articles, 2 books, and 2 web sources, and one of the web sources must be from the .org, .gov, or .edu. The annotations should all be exactly the same as you already turned in. You have to have a citation, you have to have a search strategy, a brief summary, and an assessment. You're also going to need to make any corrections that I pointed out to you when I graded your assignments. And if you're not sure how to see my comments and turn it in, I actually made a video in week 15 that will show you how to do that and go back into your assignments that I've graded and see my comments so you know what you need to fix. Okay, so the second part of the final project is a narrated PowerPoint or any other technology that you want to use to give a presentation, a recorded presentation. It's not meant to be stressful, so whatever technology works best for you is fine. If you don't want to record a presentation, you can also type out what you would have said and put it into the notes field of your PowerPoint. So if you're using PowerPoint or even if you're using Google Slides, under the slide, you'll see a notes field. And as I said, if you don't want to do a recorded audio presentation, you can type what you would have said, in here, and I can just read the presentation to myself, essentially. The other thing you can do for a narrated PowerPoint is you would hit the Insert tab, and then you would insert audio. And you can record right on your PC if you have a microphone on your PC and record your presentation. You just record on each slide. So you record what you're going to say on slide 1, then you create slide 2, then you do this process again. Okay, so that's, the technology options. Like if you don't want to record your voice, you can type your narrations into the notes. You can use Google Slides. You can make a video on Camtasia. You can record yourself using Zoom. If you have any tech issues, please contact me because this is not meant to make you struggle with tech. It's just, so I don't want you to have to spend a lot of time on the tech. I just want you to be able to do your presentation about the work you've done this semester. There are 2 options for your narrated PowerPoint. You can either talk about your topic, focus on your topic and what you learned about it, or you could focus on what you learned about research this semester. So the first option is like, why did you choose the topic? What sources were useful? What keywords and databases did you use? What were your most helpful resources? But option 2, if you want to do that one, is a discussion of how you used to do research versus how your research skills have improved and how do you feel about research now, and advice for students taking this class next semester. So the option is yours. Either choice is totally fine. And then down here, there's some additional tips. So for the final annotated bibliography, as I said, make sure you look at the feedback I've provided on previous assignments, especially fix your APA errors. I don't mark up the final projects because I've already been marking everybody's assignments all semester. So make sure that you standardize font type, font size, font color. It should be professional looking paper. I'll show you an example in a second of the final annotated bibliography. It should be professional looking document, right? So there's no font type, size, or color inconsistencies. Count the number of sources to make sure they add up, and the rubric is your friend. If you do a presentation, it's a good idea to write a script and practice at least once before recording. It's okay to show your personality, to make jokes, whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be a very formal presentation. I just want to hear what you have to say. And again, the rubric is your friend. And if you're missing one of the required criteria, that could be a big hit to your grade. So let's look at the rubrics now. So the final annotated bibliography rubric, just so you can see how I'm going to be grading you, the introduction is 20 points. You have to explain the topic you chose, why you chose it, and talk about the sources you discovered and what you learned about your topic overall. And that could be there's not enough research on this topic, or it could be the finding is that, yes, that this drug does help smokers stop smoking, or whatever it was. You have to submit 2 book annotations, 5 journal articles, and 2 web sources, and 1 web source must be .gov.org.edu. This adds up to exactly what you've already done up to this point in this class. So you're not going to be doing any new searching. You're not going to be writing any new annotations. You should be taking what you already did in this class and putting it into a nice document, formatting it all nicely and organizing it alphabetically, putting a cover page, and then writing an introduction, right? Easy enough. I'm also going to be checking for the annotation quality to see if you've corrected errors from previous assignments. And I'm going to be checking for correct citations, or if you're not using APA, whatever I've agreed on with you that you've been using all semester. Great, so for the narrated PowerPoint rubric, if you open it up, there's actually 2 pages in here because there's 2 different options for the narrated PowerPoint. So let me make this a little bigger. So if you choose option 1, you have to describe your topic. Why did you choose it? Where did you search and how did you search, including the keywords, the Boolean strings you used? What types of sources were the most helpful, whether that's journals, websites, or books? What did you learn when you did the research on the topic? What were the big issues discussed, or what did you find interesting or surprising? A list of the top 5 most helpful resources, and the audio recording, if you do one, should be clear, easier, and easy to understand. The notes, if you write them, should be easy for me to understand and read, right? Should be something that is like your voice spoken out, only typed out, right? And the second option, it's very similar. It's all the points that you need to hit in order to get full points. So you have to describe how you used to do research, talk about how you do research now, discuss in detail the most important things you've learned, discuss your perception, how you feel about research now, provide advice for students taking this class next term, and make sure I can hear and understand it or read and understand it. Awesome. So having said all that, you might be thinking, like I've mentioned this cover page a lot. So let me open up. This is a formatted example of what your final annotated bibliography should look like. Don't read the content. This is not about perfect content. This is about the format, this example. So on page 1, it's a title page. You can see I expect a title, these elements. Then on the next page, you want the title repeated again at the top, and then your introduction on the first page. And then in the next page after that, you begin with the word references. And you can see that the references are organized by the first letter of the citation. So this one begins with A. So this one's first. As I scroll down, I can see, okay, she's including the citation, the search strategy, the summary, and the assessment, just like we've been doing all along. And then the next one, it doesn't have an organizational author and begins with C. So that goes next. The next one begins with F, so that goes next. So you can see these are alphabetically organized and not by type. So you're going to have to take your assignments and break them up to put them back in alphabetical order. And the reason I'm making you do this is that this is what a annotated bibliography in APA should look like if you were writing it as a final project for another class or writing it for publication. That's what it would look like. So you're just getting one more skill, and that's how to format a paper for APA. Okay, so any questions about any of this? You guys know how to get a hold of me, and just gonna take a quick sec to see if there's anything else I should point out. These things are just helpful tips to help you put together your presentation. They're just there to help you. Oh yeah, let me say this. So normally your projects would be done due at the end of week 15, right? So they'd be due April 25th. Right. But the week after week 15 is actually spring break. So I'm extending the due date to let anybody work on this over spring break if they want to. But you don't have to work over spring break. Just get it done week 15, get all of it done, turn it in, and then you'll have a free spring break where you don't have to work on it. Right. So the choice is yours. You decide how to manage your time. I'm not making you do work over spring break. I'm extending the deadline so you have that option to do work if you need the extra time. Alrighty, and then finals week, all you have to do is post your presentation in the forum and watch one person's presentation and respond. And there will be a course evaluation available to you at that time as well. So keep an eye out for that. So again, any of the questions about the final project, don't hesitate to ask. I am happy to help.